Hello and welcome to Tables and Pineapples, the channel where I do stuff. So this book is going to be a what? I'm falling apart. Okay, this video is going to be a book review of Kings of the Wyld by Nicholas Ames. I really couldn't shut up about how good this book is, but I have no one to talk to about it because it's like, I think a lot of people haven't read this book yet because it's not in the mainstream media. It's relevant on booktube though. It's relevant on a lot of people's booktube, but I haven't seen it a lot in like mainstream media. So this book is about Clay Cooper and his band of mercenaries. I think I've heard in an interview of Nicholas Ames where he said that this book is inspired by 70s rock bands still touring to this day, and I feel that I really like how he told that kind of story in a fantasy setting, and it makes so much sense. And it's one of the few books that tackles like the fame of being a mercenary or the fame of being a warrior in a fantasy world, and I like that kind of take because there's fantasy books that have said that, oh, this is going to be a legend, or this is a story that will be told by people over generations, but you don't really see the afterwards, right? This is a story about old mercenaries not in their prime anymore, and it's like their legends and the stories and the songs about them are in their past now and they can never get that back. I like that kind of aspect of fame being tackled in a band of warriors type of story, and I just really like that. And another thing that I really like about it is how fun and emotional it is. I think I speak for a lot of people that in some pages you will laugh out loud. Like I literally laughed out loud. This is one of the few books that made me audibly laugh. That's impressive. I don't know if my humor is just broken or Nicholas Ames just writes really great like punchlines and comedies. But there's also a few pages that just got me a little bit teary-eyed. I almost cried at a lot of scenes, and it's very sad because it tells human stories as well. It's not just these badass warriors just fighting through a forest. No, it also tells a human story, and how Nicholas Ames writes these characters as friends, as old friends, as people that have been with each other for like 20-30 years now. It's just very believable that they still have that kind of banter. They're back and forth with each other, and there's also like emotional scenes between characters that just hits you right, hits you where the feels are, you know? There's one particular thing that I want to talk about though that I don't hear from a lot of people, but this book feels perfect for fantasy video game fans. I feel like a lot of the structure in the books feels like structure in fantasy video games. Not necessarily MMO, but more on storytelling based fantasy video games. You travel with these characters and you feel like you're one of them, and you feel like you're going on side quests. You feel like you're going on quests that interconnect with each other for you to get to your ultimate goal of the story, for you to get to the main quest. You need to gear up. You need to get other characters for your band of mercenary. You need to have like quests, and that's how I felt reading this book. I went through this book in like 4 days tops, and I don't really do that with books. I'm a very slow reader, but this is a fairly thick book. Look at that. It's a average thickness, I guess, an average page count for a lot of fantasy. I feel like a lot of people that have played video games would really burn through this book and just appreciate how epic and great and adventurous it is. And I can't explain it right, but it feels so much like a video game for me. It feels like you're controlling this character, you are fighting, you are seeing emotional cutscenes, you are doing side quests, you're doing the main mission, you meet other characters that gives you exposition. I just feel like there's a lot of elements that are inspired by video games and also D&D. like a lot of people have said, this book feels like a very great D&D campaign where the Dungeon Master is very confident with the story that he's trying to tell and very confident with the world that he is building. You could equate that also to video games, because a lot of video games are very fun. A lot of video games have lore, they have different towns that they go to. You can explore this kind of world, and I feel like that's such a video gamey vibe for me. I think this is a perfect book for people who likes fantasy video games like Skyrim, Dragon's Dogma, Final Fantasy. I feel like this book just captures that kind of vibe of like you're playing the game and you're really enjoying it. It's fast paced, but there's also emotional beats. The story is really good. The characters are really good. It feels like you're one with these characters. I don't know if Nicholas Ames wanted that kind of feeling of it feeling like a fantasy open world video game, but I got that feeling when reading this book. So if that's something that you're into, I think I recommend this to a lot of people that plays D&D campaigns and even plays video games, because it just feels like that kind of structure. I don't know if this video is going to be structured well, but this is just me ranting, and this has been on my mind for so long, and I just needed to talk about it, on how like great this book is, and like I just love it. I just love how it feels so much like an adventure, a fantasy world that I want to just be a warrior in. It's definitely a feel-good book for me, and definitely a book that I will probably read again in the future if I want to feel good and if I want to feel that sense of adventure that I always want in fantasy books. So that's about it. This video is just me ranting. It's not like a professional review. I am just a guy ranting about Kings of the Wyld by Nicholas Ames and how much I really like it. So yeah, I highly recommend it. It's probably an 8 out of 10 for me. I really recommend this book to experienced fantasy readers where you just want to take a break from like depressing tones, or if you want a safe play when you want to start reading fantasy. I recommend this book. That's about it. I really just like this book and I wanted to rant about it. So that's about it. See ya. Bye bye.